Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Stand up for your country. So we're on bomb watch. That could happen at any time. We tape in late afternoon Eastern time here in New York. So by 7 p.m., Iran could be bombed by U.S., and that could happen, no doubt. Iran is 7.5 hours ahead of us, and the bombing will be done at night. And there will be no advance notice to the press or anybody else. You don't do that. You don't tip the enemy, hey, here come the American bombers. So we're on this. As soon as anything happens, we will be tweeting it out. We're doing stuff on BillO'Reilly.com. I'll write a column on Sunday. All of that. So stay close to us. Today's a federal holiday, Juneteenth. Most people don't know what that is. So at the end of the Civil War, slave states out west didn't know the Confederates surrendered because there really wasn't any mass communication. There were newspapers, but they didn't get out to Texas and Missouri and Arizona and all of that. So the Union Army actually had to go physically to Galveston, get off the ships that took them there, and tell the people, hey, no more slavery. And they did that by putting up posters and making announcements in the town and all that. That's Juneteenth. And federal holiday, and I subscribe to it because African Americans have gotten it worse than any other minority in this country. And we all need to acknowledge that. And, we need to understand what Black Americans, what their ancestors went through. It's very important. And I write about that in Confronting Evil. Part of the book is the slave trade in America. Where do you see this? It's incredible what happened. So anyway, Juneteenth, federal holiday. Now, let's get back to Iran's the subject of the Talking Points memo. We got to do the right thing here. That's number one. And I applaud President Trump for taking his time. He's trying to get the Iranians to surrender without U.S. military power. That is a good thing. That is the right thing to do. And that's the key. Always do the right thing. That's not that easy. The right thing was removing Saddam Hussein, and we did that. But it led to horror because our follow-up was to occupy Iraq, try to make it to a democracy, and it just didn't work. So you can do the right thing and still screw it up. Here, to his credit, again, President Trump's taking his time trying to get these nukes out of there without blowing up the world, figuratively, okay? I mean, literally, we're going to blow up a mountain if we decide to use air power and destroy their nuclear facility. But you know that after that happens, there's going to be stuff that's not good. So the president would rather have the mullahs surrender, and he still believes a chance for that. Most people don't. The odds are that they won't surrender. Saddam Hussein didn't do it. He didn't even have weapons of mass destruction. He was such a loon. Okay, so what about the American people? Well, they are supporting the president in the Iran campaign. Roll tape.
And overall, I feel like there's more support for Donald Trump's positions than is comically acknowledged. Oppose Iran getting a nuclear weapon. I mean, look at this. 79% of adults agree on that. They agree with Donald Trump. Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. 83% of Republicans, 79% of independents, 79% of Democrats. When you get 79% of Democrats and 83% of Republicans agreeing on anything, you know that that position is the very clear majority in this country. And so the American public is with Donald Trump. They definitely oppose Iran getting nuclear weapons.
Okay, but then the question becomes, how do you stop it? So the Washington Post, which is solely in business to advance progressive causes, it's not a newspaper, it's a journal. It's a progressive left journal. So they do this very strange poll. Listen to this closely. So the Washington Post says their headline is 45% of Americans are against potential U.S. strikes in Iran. Okay? 45% against military action, according to Washington Post. Well, how did they get that number? So they took a text message poll, not a scientific poll, They texted people, and they got the data from an operation called SSRS Opinion. I don't know what that is. But if you got a text from the Washington Post and you're a conservative or even a moderate, chances are you're not going to answer it because you don't like them, right? So they're texting people, hoping people will reply, and some people did, but my hypothesis is 90% of them were left, and they don't want military action. Okay, so we look at that poll, we look at the headline, and the press grabs it. Oh, 45% don't want military action. What about a scientific poll? I have one. This comes out of Rasmussen, okay? And here's question number one. Would you support or oppose military action by the United States to destroy Iran's nuclear weapons program? Support 57, oppose 30%. So there's a 15-point gap for the Washington Post push poll and the Rasmussen poll. And this is what I mean by propaganda. So the Washington Post puts this out, and then the left-wing media pushes this. Rasmussen would have very, very little reportage. So you at home think, well, most people don't, oppose. They don't. They don't. And this is my job now, to filter through all this propaganda for you. So last night I was on News Nation. It was the three Americans, Stephen A. Smith, Cuomo, and O'Reilly. And then we added James Carville. Now, Carville is a very dedicated Democrat, right? I think that's accurate. And he's very, very rarely dissents. He yells at progressives once in a while when they're just insane, but he is really involved with that party. He makes money. He can consult. So he puts forth, this is all Trump's fault. Carville. He says that if Trump didn't get out of the Iran nuke deal that Obama made, that everything would be fine. This is just not true. All right, so let's run Carville first, and then I'll back it up. Go.
It was widely assumed when he pulled out, and I think correctly, that Iran was in compliance. That is, in error, there were inspectors in Iran at the time.
Okay, so that's not true. Here's what I said. Number one, the Iranians cheated on the Obama deal. Everyone knew it. That's why Trump pulled out. Okay. Number two, 79% of the American people, according to CNN today, supports preventing Iran from getting a nuke. And number three, Stephen A., and this is most important, the Muellers don't deny they have the nuclear capacity. They just say, we're going to use it for peaceful purposes. Okay, so how did the Iranians cheat on the Obama deal? Now, you remember that we had an investigative report. I wrote a column on it that said that Barack Obama, while president, made a nuke deal with the Muellers, and he gave the Muellers $1.3 billion to sign the deal, including $400 million in suitcases in cash on a private plane flown to Tehran in the middle of the night, and nobody knew about it. Okay? Just that's the setup. So here's what the Muellers did. The Obama nuke deal was the Iranians could only have 4% enriched uranium at 4%. By the time the deal collapsed and Trump was president, Iranians were enriching uranium at a rate of 60%, 6 zeros. Also, they were not allowing the UN weapons inspectors in. They were holding them up time after time, just like Saddam Hussein did. There were no Americans in there. So the president of the United States signs a deal, a nuke deal with Iran, but there's no U.S. verification. That sound like a good deal to you? But Trump said it was ridiculous. Throw it out. But according to Carville and the Democratic Party, this is all Trump's fault. There would be no problem with Iranian nukes had Trump kept the Obama deal. Now, do you believe that? please, if you believe that, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, and you can contact your liberal friends too. And you just send me a couple of paragraphs on why you would believe that. Okay, so now I'm giving you the facts. I'm telling you what happened. Now, Carville doesn't lie, in my opinion, known him a long time, but he believes what he wants to believe. That's what he wants to believe, that it's Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. So he's not going to do what I did, and I didn't do it myself, but my staff, and it's good. You know, I said, look, find out what the true story was, and boom, it comes back, and I can tell you. All right. Another wrinkle to this. So Trump's on the phone with Putin, a true psychotic. And Putin says to Trump, hey, I can mediate a deal between the USA and Iran. Remember, Putin gives Iran weapons. Doesn't give them uranium, as far as we know, but he gives them weapons, heavy weapons. So Trump says this, go.
Would have never happened if I was president. Putin would have never done it. And I spoke to him yesterday, and I said, you know, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay?
All right. So I thought that was a pretty good response. Some people think that Trump's in the tank for Putin. I think he's given Putin probably too much rope at this point and should slap on the banking sanctions, which is what I would do. But, you know, he's the president. But he's certainly not in the tank. And then Putin mediating is just ridiculous. All right. I'm going to bring in Barack Obama for this Talking Points memo, since we've spoken about him. So I respect Barack Obama. If you read Confronting the Presidents, I lay out the good and the bad. Okay, I don't agree with him he's a quasi-socialist guy, believes huge government should run pretty much everything, and I'm not even close to that. But he worked hard, and I thought he tried to improve things for marginalized people. All right. He doesn't do much now. He gives speeches, and he makes an enormous amount of money, but he's not running around, visible all over the place. But here's what he said in Hartford, Connecticut, 2 days ago. Roll it.
Democracy is not self-executing. It requires people, judges, and people in the Justice Department, and people throughout the government who take an oath to uphold the Constitution. It requires them to take that oath seriously. And when that isn't happening, we start drifting into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies.
Well, the president's lucky I wasn't sitting next to him, because I said, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Everything that Trump has done, all the executive orders, all the policies have been immediately taken to the judicial system, to the judges. Where's the autocracy on that? Okay, it's in the system. And then the appeals court rules, and finally the Supreme Court rules. I don't see any danger to the system. That's the way the system's supposed to work. Trump wants to do certain things. He makes an order. He gets sued. It goes into the system. The judges rule. Then the appeals rule. And finally the Supreme Court rules. What's the beef? What is the beef? I don't feel threatened. I don't feel that an autocracy is upon me. I mean, I could have just, if it were Barack Obama and O'Reilly debating what he just said, okay. But most people, again, and it's not their fault. And what I gave you in the past 15 minutes, how could you know? How could you know what the original Obama-Iranian nuke deal was? How? You couldn't. You have to depend on people who get paid to research this stuff. And 80% of them are lying to you, misleading you, which is why you're here. Because you can't make responsible, honest decisions if you don't know reality. And what the president did just there, Obama, was he gave you a false reality. We're not drifting toward autocracy. That's not true. And that is the memo. Our healthcare system is a mess. You know that. You wait weeks for a doctor's appointment, get 5 minutes there, then face delays, insurance, red tape. It's slow, frustrating, and it's why all family pharmacy stands out in the madness. All family pharmacy believes in medical freedom, meaning you decide what works for your health, not some agency or insurance company. Ordering is simple. No waiting rooms, pharmacy lines. Just go online, place your order, and get medications delivered right to your door. They offer 200 medications, including ivermectin and antibiotics, plus emergency kits, customized orders, even bulk buys. More than 100,000 Americans already trust All Family Pharmacy. It's time you check them out. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code BILL10 for 10% off. Take your health into your own hands. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. So brand new YouTube bonus, our YouTube channel, approaching 1 million subscribers. Thank you all very much. It's free. YouTube.com/Bill O'Reilly, YouTube.com/Bill O'Reilly. You sign up, and we have 2 commentaries a week. This one is on who paid for the No Kings protest. We tracked it. It's a fascinating story. Okay? So you're going to want to watch that. Let's go to the mail. John Abercrombie, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I thought President Trump said the U.S. was not going to be actively involved in the Israel-Iran conflict other than basically siding with Israel. Now, every 5 minutes, I see another comment from Trump, and he's demanding an unconditional surrender. I don't disagree with that, but shouldn't Israel be the one putting that forward? Well, John, come on. We want to live in a real world here? So the mullahs aren't going to respond to Israel. They're going to respond to us. And Trump sees a pathway to take them out. No nukes. That's it. Benjamin K., Jerusalem, Israel. Perhaps you can clear something up for me, Bill. You mentioned President Trump is worried that getting involved in Iran could cause trouble with China or Russia. What kind of problems? Have they declared they will defend Iran? They have not. But you know, Benjamin, I'm sure, from reading the Jerusalem Post, that Putin supplies Iran with heavy weapons. And China buys tons of Iranian oil. So you cut that oil flow to China, those people are not going to be happy. Putin, not so much. China. So Trump has to negotiate all this. Okay? It's complicated. And I appreciate you watching. Just stay safe in Jerusalem. Great town, by the way. I wrote Killing Jesus. I had to spend some time over there, and boy, it's a good town. David Concierge member, Bill, that clip you showed of DNI Director Tulsi Gabbard doesn't surprise me. As much as I admire her military service, I find isolationism quite naive. Well, the president made a mistake giving her that position. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I think she's a straight shooter, but she is a hardcore isolationist and can't live in that world now. Wayne is shy, doesn't want his last name. Okay. Chehalis, Washington, I agree with you, Bill, and trust you to provide accurate reporting. I do not trust many on social media. Sadly, I now filter most information through artificial intelligence to see where I'm being misled. I do too. I use AI, but I always confirm it. But it's a smart play. You can't just believe what you read on the net. Maurice, concierge member. Maurice, if he gets in trouble, my crew will go to his aid. That's on BillO'Reilly.com. Concierge member will enhance your life. It's the least expensive insurance policy you will ever see. Maurice, it's a real shame. As I age, I trust others less. Sad reality of what our society has become. Because you're smarter. That's what happens. And you have life experience. Heidi, concierge member, trusting the internet and even AI is also subject to lies and false advertising. Be careful, everyone. Looks like the real thing, but it's not. Caution, Heidi, you're absolutely right. Caution, caution, caution. You know, we go through a laborious process here to make sure what we tell you is true. And I get so much mail. Is this true? It's that true? And I can't do it all. I just don't have time to do it all. Some of it's really loopy. It's way out there, the stuff that they're putting forth. Russ Chipola, San Jose, California. I wasn't aware of all the merchandise being sold by the Trump family. I agree. It was far less bad than Hunter Biden and the Biden family, but I remember Billygate, President Carter's brother, selling beer. As I said, most of them do it. I'm not justifying bad behavior. You can make the call. Okay? The president doesn't have any direct line. His sons run the company. But you make the call. Jenny Verdone. I read in my granddaughter's history lesson, there was a reason FDR gave everything to Stalin. He wanted Stalin's help in the Pacific Theater. You should have mentioned that, O'Reilly, if true. It is true, but it's foolish. We didn't need Russia's help. We had Japan on the ropes. Roosevelt knew that. Come on. Russia was in that war for like 2 weeks. It's all right. I'm glad you're asking. BillO'Reilly.com store. Not woke gear for the summer, sweeping the nation. There it is. Make friends, have a few laughs at the grocery store. Good stuff, made in America. I believe it's not made in China. I didn't check it all out, but no, not China. You'll like it. And then if you want to order Confronting Evil, out September 9, coming up fast. So look who's on the cover of this book. There's the Ayatollah Khomeini, and he's like the twin of the Ayatollah that's in there now. There's Putin. There's Mao right in the back, and she wants to be like Mao. And there's old Adolf. Now, there are 9 other evildoers in the book. Couldn't put them all on the cover. They're on the back cover. You will like this book, Confronting Evil. Pre-order on BillO'Reilly.com. And if you become a premium or concierge member, you get it free. That's a good deal. Okay, back with a final thought in a moment. Hey, folks, listen to what I am about to share with you. It's important. If you suffer from fatigue, memory loss, achy joints, or just find yourself getting sick all the time, then check out Strong Cell. You used to get NADH in an IV, but not anymore. Strong Cell's proprietary formula delivers NADH in a way your body can absorb. It's the first NADH supplement that works. There's over 30 trillion cells in your body. Take care of them so that they can take care of you. Results include a sharper, clearer mind, increased natural energy throughout the day, so no more afternoon crashes. It's an easy daily 2-ounce drink. You'll feel the impact in 3 to 6 weeks. Invest in your health. Visit strongcell.com/Bill. Use code Bill to get 20% off. That's strongcell.com/Bill. Our healthcare system is a mess, you know that. You wait weeks for a doctor's appointment, get 5 minutes there, then face delays, insurance, red tape. It's slow, frustrating, and it's why All Family Pharmacy stands out in the madness. All Family Pharmacy believes in medical freedom, meaning you decide what works for your health, not some agency or insurance company. Ordering is simple. No waiting rooms, pharmacy lines. Just go online, place your order, and get medications delivered right to your door. They offer 200 medications, including ivermectin and antibiotics, plus emergency kits, customized orders, even bulk buys. More than 100,000 Americans already trust All Family Pharmacy. It's time you check them out. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code BILL10 for 10% off. Take your health into your own hands. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. So as I said, top of the broadcast, anything can happen at any time. We're on it. I've alerted the staff. It's going to be very hot here in the Northeast. No excuse. I'm going to have my stupid phone with me on the beach or wherever I wind up. And boom, something happens. You go right to BillO'Reilly.com. I will give you the best analysis I can give you as quick as we can do it. Sunday column, I don't know what I'm going to write about yet because things are changing every minute. So that is we are on this, and we will tell you the truth. Thank you for watching No Spin News. I'm Bill O'Reilly. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.